why chosen ones are tested. More, the spiritual truth behind the trials. Have you ever lost something or someone you thought you couldn't live without, only to find yourself stronger on the other side? Loss is painful, confusing, and at times unfair. But what if it's part of God's greater plan for your life? If you've experienced this kind of loss, share your story in the comments. Your reflection might inspire someone else who is struggling to let go. Letting go is one of the most difficult but necessary parts of life, especially for God's chosen ones. Whether it's a relationship, a job, a friendship, or even an old version of yourself, there comes a point when God calls you to release what no longer serves you. While the process of letting go can be painful, it is always purposeful. God removes things and people from your life not to harm you, but to prepare you for what's next. The first reason God removes people or things from your life is to protect you. Sometimes, you cannot see the harm in a situation because you are too close to it. A relationship that feels comfortable may actually be holding you back. A job that gives you financial security may be keeping you from pursuing your true calling. God sees what you cannot, and when He removes something from your life, it is because He is protecting you from what you cannot yet understand. At first, this loss may feel like rejection. You may question why God would take away something you thought was good for you, but over time, you will begin to see the truth. That person, opportunity, or situation was never meant to be part of your future. God is protecting you from settling for less than what He has planned for you. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever experienced a loss that, in hindsight, turned out to be a blessing? Maybe you didn't see it at first, but eventually, you realized that God was protecting you. Share your story in the comments. Someone might need to hear that their loss is not the end but a new beginning. Another reason God removes things from your life is to make room for growth. Growth requires space. You cannot hold on to what no longer serves you while reaching for what is meant for you. Sometimes, we cling to people, habits, or situations out of fear or comfort, even when we know they are not aligned with our purpose. God steps in and removes these attachments because He knows you cannot grow while carrying what is holding you back. Think of a plant in a small pot. Its roots will only grow as far as the space allows. But when you replant it into a larger pot, it has room to stretch and grow. The same is true for your life. God will repot you, removing things and people so you can stretch into the person you are meant to be. While this process may feel unsettling, it is necessary for your spiritual and personal growth. The loss of what is familiar creates discomfort, but discomfort is where growth happens. You begin to rely on God more deeply, trusting Him to guide you through the uncertainty. This trust becomes the foundation for the next chapter of your life, one that is filled with new opportunities, relationships, and blessings that align with your purpose. Have you ever outgrown a relationship, job, or version of yourself, only to find something better on the other side? Share your reflections in the comments. Your story might remind someone that growth often requires letting go of what is familiar. God also removes people and things from your life to align you with your purpose. As one of His chosen ones, you are not here to live an ordinary life. You have been given a mission, a divine purpose that requires focus, clarity, and alignment. When you hold on to people or things that are not aligned with this mission, you create unnecessary distractions and delays. God removes them not as a punishment, but as a redirection. This redirection can be painful, especially when you don't understand why it's happening. You may feel like you're losing something valuable, but trust that God never takes something away without giving you something better in return. What is meant for you cannot miss you, and what is not meant for you cannot stay. When you release what is not aligned, you make space for the relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are divinely meant for you. Reflect for a moment. Have you ever felt like God was redirecting you? Perhaps He closed a door that you desperately wanted to stay open, only to lead you to something better. Share your experience in the comments. It might help someone trust God's redirection in their own life. Have you ever clung so tightly to something, only to have it slip through your fingers? The feeling of loss can be overwhelming. But what if God was clearing your hands so He could place something greater in them? Reflect on this and share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes letting go feels like the end, but it's really the beginning of a new chapter. One of the most important spiritual lessons in letting go is learning to trust God's timing and plan. As humans, we often hold on because we are afraid of what will happen if we let go. We become attached to people, jobs, or habits because they provide a sense of comfort and familiarity, even if they are no longer good for us. But God does not operate on our timeline. He operates on His own divine plan, which is always for our good. When God removes something, it can feel sudden or even unfair. You may find yourself asking, why now? Why me? Why this? But in time, you begin to see that His plan was always better than yours. Letting go creates space for God to reveal what He has been preparing for you. When you trust His timing, you release the burden of control and open yourself to the blessings He wants to bring into your life. This trust does not come easily. It requires faith. Faith that God sees what you cannot. Faith that He is protecting and preparing you. And faith that His promises will always come to pass. The process of letting go strengthens this faith. It teaches you to walk in trust, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Faith reminds you that God never takes something away without a purpose, and that He always provides for His children. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever held on to something for too long, only to realize later that God was leading you to something better? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might encourage someone to trust God's timing. Another key lesson in letting go is learning to release control. As one of God's chosen ones, you may feel a deep responsibility to make everything work, to hold on, to fix, to save. But there are some battles you are not meant to fight, and there are some things you are not meant to carry. When God removes someone or something from your life, it is often a sign that it is not your responsibility to hold on anymore. Letting go means surrendering the need to control the outcome. It means trusting that God's plan is unfolding, even when you don't understand it. This surrender brings freedom. It lifts the weight of trying to force things that are not meant for you. When you release control, you allow God to step in and work on your behalf. You give Him room to open new doors, align you with new opportunities, and bring people into your life who are meant to walk alongside you. Think about a time when you tried to force something to work, a relationship, a job, or a plan, only to feel drained, frustrated, or stuck. Now think about what happened when you finally let go. Did things begin to shift? Did you feel lighter? Share your story in the comments. Someone might need to hear that letting go is the key to finding peace and alignment. Letting go also teaches you the importance of self-worth and alignment. Sometimes, God removes people or situations because they are no longer aligned with who you are becoming. As you grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, you begin to outgrow certain relationships, habits, and environments. Holding on to these things can stunt your growth and keep you from stepping into the person God created you to be. God's chosen ones often struggle with this because they feel a deep desire to hold on to relationships, even when they are unhealthy or unbalanced. But letting go does not mean you don't care. It means you love yourself enough to prioritize your growth and purpose. God wants you to see your worth. He wants you to know that you deserve relationships and situations that uplift you, challenge you to grow, and align with your mission. If you've ever had to let go of someone or something because it no longer aligned with who you were becoming, take a moment to reflect on that experience. How did letting go allow you to grow or move forward? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could inspire someone who is afraid to take that step. Letting go is also about making space for God's blessings. When you hold on to something that is not meant for you, it takes up space that could be filled with something better. Imagine trying to carry two heavy bags. You cannot pick up anything new until you put one of them down. The same is true in life. God cannot bring new relationships, opportunities, or blessings into your life until you release what is no longer meant for you. At first, letting go may feel like loss, but in reality, it is preparation. God is clearing space in your life because He is about to fill it with something extraordinary. When you let go, you create room for new growth, deeper love, and greater purpose. Reflect on this. Have you ever released something and, soon after, received an unexpected blessing? Maybe a closed door led to an opportunity you never imagined. Share your experience in the comments. These moments remind us that God's blessings often come after surrender. This concludes part 2 of Title 13, exploring the lessons of trust, surrender, self-worth, and the blessings that come from letting go. Let me know when you're ready for part 3, where we'll bring this exploration to a powerful conclusion, showing how letting go ultimately aligns you with God's divine plan. Have you ever looked back on a moment of loss and realized that it wasn't the end? It was the beginning of something better? At the time, it may have felt like your world was falling apart, but now you see it was God clearing the way for something greater. If this resonates, take a moment to share your reflection in the comments. Your story could give someone else the hope they need to trust the process. One of the most powerful realizations you will have as one of God's chosen ones is this: letting go is not losing, it is gaining alignment. What you release makes space for what is meant for you. Sometimes we hold on because we fear the unknown. But what if the unknown holds blessings beyond anything we could imagine? Trust that when God removes something or someone from your life, it's because He is aligning you with His divine plan. You may not always see the purpose right away. In fact, the space that loss creates can feel empty at first, as though something is missing. But God doesn't leave empty spaces. He fills them. When you let go of what is no longer aligned, you open yourself to relationships that nourish you, opportunities that challenge you, and experiences that transform you. That emptiness is not a void. It's an invitation for God to move in ways you cannot yet see. Letting go also allows you to step fully into your purpose. God's chosen ones are called to a higher path, one that requires focus, clarity, and unwavering faith. When you hold on to things that weigh you down, whether it's relationships, habits, or even fears, you delay the fulfillment of your purpose. Letting go is an act of surrender and obedience. It is saying, God, I trust your plan more than I trust my own. Take a moment to reflect. Is there something in your life that you know you need to let go of? Perhaps it's a relationship that drains you, a habit that keeps you stuck, or a fear that holds you back. Trust that releasing it will create room for something greater. Share your thoughts in the comments. You might encourage someone else to take that leap of faith. Another profound gift of letting go is inner peace. Holding on to what no longer serves you creates turmoil in your mind, body, and spirit. It feels heavy, as though you are carrying a weight you were never meant to bear. But when you let go, you experience freedom. You release the tension, the fear, and the struggle, allowing God to fill you with His peace. This peace is not temporary. It is the kind of peace that surpasses all understanding, a calm that remains even in the face of uncertainty. Peace comes when you trust that God's plan is greater than your own. You no longer feel the need to fight, force, or control situations that are beyond your power. Instead, you surrender, allowing God to work in His perfect timing. This surrender doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're giving it to Him. And when you give it to God, you find rest. You begin to realize that you don't have to figure everything out on your own because God is already making a way for you. Letting go also helps you heal and transform. Many of the things we hold on to, whether it's people, regrets, or disappointments, become wounds that we carry. These wounds prevent us from stepping into the fullness of who we are meant to be. When God asks you to let go, He is also inviting you to heal. He is asking you to release the pain, the bitterness, and the attachments that no longer serve you so that you can become whole again. Healing is not an overnight process. It takes time, reflection, and faith. But as you let go, you begin to notice how much lighter you feel. You start to release the anger, the sadness, and the confusion, replacing it with hope, joy, and purpose. Through healing, you become stronger, wiser, and more aligned with God's plan for your life. Think about this. Is there something you've been holding on to that is keeping you from healing? Maybe it's a past mistake, a relationship, or an old version of yourself. Take a moment to release it. Write it down, say a prayer, or share it in the comments. This act of surrender might be the first step toward your freedom. Lastly, letting go allows you to trust in God's greater blessings. When something is removed from your life, it's easy to focus on what you've lost. But what if you shifted your perspective to focus on what's coming? God never takes without giving. He never closes a door without opening another one. The blessing may not come immediately, but it will come in God's perfect time. Your role is to trust, to keep walking forward, and to stay open to what God has planned for you. When you let go, you align yourself with God's abundance. You make space for relationships that inspire you, opportunities that challenge you, and experiences that fill your life with meaning. You begin to see that the loss you experienced was not the end. It was the beginning of something new, something better, something God had been preparing for you all along. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever received an unexpected blessing after letting go of something that wasn't meant for you? How did it change your life? Share your story in the comments. Your testimony might give someone the faith they need to trust that God is working on their behalf. Final words. Letting go is one of the hardest things to do, but it is also one of the most powerful acts of faith. God removes people and things from your life because He is preparing you for something greater. He is aligning you with your purpose, protecting you from harm, and guiding you toward the blessings that are meant for you. Trust the process. Even when you cannot see the way forward, know that God is clearing the path for you. Letting go is not losing. It is gaining alignment, peace, and purpose. Surrender what no longer serves you, and watch as God transforms your life in ways you never imagined. You are one of God's chosen ones, and His plans for you are filled with hope, abundance, and love. Release what you need to release. Trust what you cannot yet see, and know that God is working everything out for your good.